I never believed in fate. Life's damn irony taught me a lesson I still can't recover from. 10 years ago, I lost everything, and today I saw a ghost.
Thank you for watching my channel. I create videos for your enjoyment. Please subscribe if you want to support my efforts, it's very important to me. I apologize in advance for any mistakes, dubbing is done by neural network. Please point out mistakes in the comments so I can correct them.
It was an ordinary Tuesday. I was lazily pushing my cart down the aisles of the supermarket, machine stacking a week's worth of groceries. A packet of cereal, milk, eggs, the usual. My life had become a routine, and I was resigned to it. After Anna disappeared, I felt numb. Work-home sleep was all that was left. I was about to head toward the cash register when out of the corner of my eye, I caught a glimpse of a familiar silhouette. My heart skipped a beat. It's impossible. It just couldn't be. I turned around, almost knocking over the cart. And then I saw her. Anna. The same mop of red hair, freckles on her nose, eyes the color of summer sky. She was standing a few meters away from me, looking at a shelf of cereal. And next to her, a boy. 9 years old, no more. Redhead like her. With a chin as stubborn as mine. The ground went out from under my feet. 1,000 thoughts raced through my mind, but I couldn't grasp any of them. Anna. Here. Alive. With the baby. My baby? I didn't know what to do. Should I call out to her? Turn around and run away? Pinch myself to wake up from this crazy dream? But I had no choice. Anna turned and saw me. Her eyes widened with shock. She turned so pale that the freckles on her face became even brighter. Max. Her voice trembled. The same voice I hadn't heard in 10 long years. Anna. Was all I could squeeze out. The boy looked at me curiously, then at his mother. Mom, who's that? He asked. The question seemed to snap us both out of our daze. Anna grabbed her son's hand. No one, sweetie. Let's get out of here. But I couldn't let her disappear again. Not now, not with so many questions racking my brain. Wait. I took a step forward. Anna, please. We need to talk. She froze, still holding her son's hand. I could see her struggling with herself. Finally, she took a deep breath and turned to me. Okay, Max. We'll talk. But not here. We silently paid for our purchases and walked out of the store. Anna suggested we go to a small cafe nearby. All the way we walked in tense silence. The boy, God, is that really my son? Looked at me curiously. At the cafe, Anna sat her son at a table and gave him a clipboard. Sit here, sweetie. Uncle Max and I are going to step back to talk for a bit, okay? The boy nodded, already immersed in the game. Anna and I retreated to the far table. So, I began as we sat down. 10 years, Anya. 10 goddamn years. Where have you been? Why did you disappear? And most importantly, who is this boy? Anna lowered her eyes. I could see her nervously rubbing her napkin. His name is Michael, she said quietly. He's 9 years old. And he's your son, Max. Those words hit me like a hammer. I leaned back in my chair, trying to comprehend what I was hearing. My son? But how? Why didn't you tell me? Why did you leave? Anna finally raised her eyes to me. Tears stood in them. I was scared, Max. We were so young. You were just starting your career. You had such ambitious plans. And I found out I was pregnant. Memories came flooding back to me. Really, 10 years ago, I was obsessed with work. Spending days and nights in the office, making grand plans. Had I given Anna any reason to think a child would get in my way? But what made you think I'd be against it? Anna, I loved you. I would have given up everything for you and the baby. She grinned bitterly. Really? And remember our conversation a month before I found out I was pregnant? We were discussing the future, and you said you didn't want kids until 5 years from now. That you needed to get on your feet first, build a career. I went cold. Yes, I remembered that conversation. Damn it, how stupid and arrogant I'd been back then. Anna, I was an idiot. I didn't realize what was really important in life. But that's no reason to disappear for 10 years. Why didn't you talk to me? She sighed. I wanted to. I really wanted to. But then something else happened. I tensed. What else could have happened? Remember that party at Nate's? 2 weeks before I disappeared. I frowned, trying to remember. Yeah, there had been some kind of party. I vaguely remembered it because I was pretty drunk at the time. You were so drunk you could barely stand on your feet, Anna continued. And when I tried to take you home, you started yelling at me. Said I was strangling you, that I was interfering with your career. And then you said if I got pregnant, you'd make me have an abortion. I froze. No, that couldn't be. I couldn't have said that. Anna, I don't remember it. I was drunk, I didn't realize what I was saying. I know, she replied quietly. But you have no idea how much it hurt me to hear it. And then a week later, I found out I was pregnant. And I just panicked. Decided it would be best to leave. I sat stunned by these revelations. Everything was falling into place, and that made it hurt even more.
Jesus, Ana.
If you only knew how I searched for you. I was going crazy, not realizing what had happened. Why you just disappeared. She reached out and gently touched my palm. I'm sorry, Max. I really am. I know what I did was awful. But at the time I felt like I had no choice. I looked over at Michael, playing passionately on his tablet. My son. I have a son I didn't know existed for 9 years. And now? I asked. Why are you back? Anna smiled weakly. I wasn't planning on coming back. Michael and I lived in another city all these years. But a month ago, I was offered a great job here. I hesitated for a long time, but then I decided it was time to stop running from the past. I nodded, trying to digest all this information. So what now? I don't know, Max, she answered honestly. I didn't expect to meet you like this, in the supermarket. I wasn't prepared for this conversation. And Michael? Does he know about me? Anna shook her head. No. I mean, he knows he has a father, but I never told him the details. Only said we broke up before he was born. I felt a lump come up to my throat. 9 years. I'd missed 9 years of my son's life. Anna, I want to meet him. If you'll let me. She looked at me for a long moment, as if assessing me. Finally, she nodded slowly. Okay. But let's take it slow. He needs time to get used to the thought of you. I agreed. We exchanged phone numbers and agreed to meet up in a couple days. When Anna and Michael left, I sat in a cafe for a long time, trying to make sense of everything that had happened. My life had been turned upside down in a couple of hours. I watched them through the cafe window. A little red-haired family, the woman I loved more than life, and a boy I didn't even know existed. For the first time in 10 years, I felt hope stirring in my soul. Maybe this story would still have a happy ending. Maybe I could make up for lost time and become the father Michael deserved. But I knew the road to that would be long and difficult. There was too much pain and unspoken feelings left between Anna and me. Too many years had passed. And yet, as I looked at the receding figures of Anna and Eichel, I realized I was ready to fight. For a chance to know my son. For a chance to make things right. For the first time in years, I felt alive again. The next few days were a blur. I couldn't concentrate on work, constantly replaying my meeting with Anna in my head. Every time I looked at the picture she had sent me of Michael, I was overcome with conflicting feelings, the joy of having a son and the bitterness of missing years. Finally, the day came for our next meeting. We agreed to see each other in the park, deciding that Michael would be more comfortable there. I arrived early, nervously pacing the alley, glancing at my watch every now and then. When I saw them, my heart sank. Anna was holding Michael's hand, saying something quietly to him. The boy looked a little wary, but there was a glow of curiosity in his eyes. "Hi," I said, stepping closer. My voice shook with excitement.
Hello, Max, Anna replied.
She turned to her son. "Michael, I'd like you to meet him. This is Max, your dad." Eichel stared at me with wide-open eyes. I saw in them a mixture of surprise, disbelief, and hope. "Hi, Michael," I squatted down to be level with him. "Yeah. I'm really glad to finally meet you." The boy smiled uncertainly. Why didn't you come before?" That simple question hit me under the breath. I threw a quick glance at Anna, looking for support. You see, Michael, I began gently, sometimes adults make mistakes. Really big mistakes. And your mom and I. We both made mistakes. But now I'm here, and if you'll let me, I'd really like to get to know you better. Michael looked at me thoughtfully, then at Anna. Mom, can we feed the ducks? I saw there's a pond here. Anna exhaled in relief. Sure, honey. Let's get some bread and go to the pond. We spent the next hour tossing bread to the ducks and talking. Michael slowly thawed out, talking about school, his friends, his favorite books and games. I greedily absorbed every word, trying to catch up on the years I had missed. When Michael went off to play on the playground, Anna and I sat down on a bench. He's amazing, I said as I watched our son deftly climb on the tent. Anna nodded. Yes, he's a very smart and kind boy. You know, he looks so much like you as a child. I turned to her. Do you remember what I was like as a child? She smiled weakly. Of course I do. We grew up in the same yard, remember? I remember how you were always making up some crazy game and dragging all the kids into it. Memories came flooding back to me. Indeed, Anna and I had known each other since childhood. How could I have forgotten that? Anna, I touched her hand gently. I know I have no right to ask, but I want to be a part of Michael's life. I know I've missed so much, but maybe it's not too late to make things right. She was silent for a long time, looking at her son playing. I don't know, Max, it's complicated. Michael's just starting to get used to a new city, a new school. I'm afraid that too abrupt a change could traumatize him. I understand, I nodded. We can move gradually. Maybe start with weekly meetings? I could pick him up from school, help him with his homework, take him to the movies, or just take him for a walk in the park. Anna looked at me thoughtfully. What about your job? Are you still as obsessed with your career? I shook my head. No, Anna. I've rethought a lot of things in these 10 years. Yes, I have a good position, but I've learned to prioritize. Family is what's really important. Family. She raised an eyebrow questioningly. I looked confused. I mean Michael. And you, of course. You're both important to me. Anna sighed. Max, let's not get ahead of ourselves. What's important right now is Michael. If you're really ready to be a father, to take on the responsibility, I won't stand in the way. But be warned, it's a serious commitment. You can't disappear from his life again. I understand, I said firmly. I swear I'll do everything I can to be a good father. We agreed on a schedule of appointments. I could see Michael twice a week after school and on weekends. It was a small step toward rebuilding what had been broken 10 years before. As we were saying goodbye, Michael gave me an unexpected hug. Bye, Dad, he said. I'll see you Wednesday. I felt a lump come up to my throat. Sure, son. I'll definitely see you. As I watched him and Anna walk away, I realized that my life would never be the same again. And I was infinitely glad of that. The next few months flew by like a blink of an eye. I plunged headfirst into the role of father, trying to make up for lost time. I went to museums, the zoo, the planetarium. I helped him with his homework, taught him how to ride a bike, played board games with him. Each encounter revealed something new to me about my son. I learned that he loves dinosaurs and dreams of becoming a paleontologist. That he loves science fiction and has already read all the Harry Potter books. That he's afraid of the dark, but he's embarrassed to admit it. Little by little, we grew closer. Michael began to confide in me, to share his secrets and worries. I could feel our bond growing and strengthening, and it filled me with incredible happiness. But there was a downside. The more time I spent with Michael, the more acutely I felt the pain of the lost years. I agonized at the thought of missing his first steps, his first words, his first day of school. Those memories belonged only to Anna, and I envied her. Our relationship with Anna was changing too. We saw each other often, discussing Michael, his successes and problems. Gradually, our conversations began to go beyond discussing our son. We reminisced about the past, shared news about our lives. I noticed how Anna had blossomed over the months. She smiled more, her eyes had that mischievous sparkle that I used to love so much. I caught myself thinking that I was falling in love with her again, but I was afraid to rush into it. There was too much pain between us, too much unspoken. I didn't want to jeopardize the delicate balance we'd established for Michael's sake. One day, when I brought Michael home after our Saturday walk, Anna invited me to tea. Michael ran off to his room to play with the new construction set I'd given him, and we sat down in the kitchen. "You know," Anna said, stirring her tea, "I never thought things would turn out like this. When I decided to go back to the city, I was sure you and I would never meet." I looked at her. "And now? Do you regret that we met?" She shook her head. "No. Seeing Michael happy with you, it's worth everything. You're a great father, Max." "Thank you," I replied quietly. "But I still feel guilty. For not looking hard enough for you. For the stupid things I said back then, at the party." Anna sighed. "We're both to blame, Max. I made the mistake of running away and hiding my son's existence from you, too. But you know, maybe it's all for the best? Maybe we both needed to grow up to be good parents to Michael." I pondered her words. Maybe she was right. That frivolous 25-year-old guy, obsessed with his career, would hardly have made a good father. But now, at 35, I felt ready for the role. "Anna," I took her hand gently. "I know there's a lot of unspoken things between us. But I want you to know, my feelings for you haven't changed. I still love you." She froze, looking at me with wide-open eyes.
Max, I.
At that moment, Michael burst into the kitchen. "Mom, Dad, look what I packed." We recoiled from each other. The moment was gone. But I saw in Anna's eyes a glimmer of the same feeling that had overwhelmed me. Looking at Michael proudly showing us his model spaceship, I realized that we would still have time. Time to sort out our feelings, heal old wounds, and maybe start over. In the meantime, we had our son, living proof of the love that had once brought us together. And that was enough.